and this is one of the best parts of the offseason as a whole. We finally get ready to get into the offseason, playoffs, the offseason, picking up some of our first free agents to help us finally try to turn things around, and getting ready to set up for the draft. Can't really ask for too much more than that. So we'll go ahead and dive into things momentarily here. Let me just go ahead and fast forward from this week. All right, got some things going. Okay, I'm not gonna worry about the upgrade players. I usually wait till preseason anyways. I'd rather not just waste, a couple minutes, whatever the case is, trying to figure out who's going to actually stick around from the roster. I just pretty much wait until the end piece. Um, we have all our practice squad players. We did get a contract extension for Darrelle Revis since he did meet the minimum 4 wins for the season. So not the best start ever for a coach, obviously, but it is what it is considering the rash of injuries, um, the talent deficient roster that we had, not a lot of scheme fits, just a bunch of various things that happened during the offseason, right? So leading into year two, we're really going to try to mold things to cater towards what the vision for the offense, the defense is going to look like, and really usher in some of that talent. So we'll skip right pretty much through the entire playoffs. We'll go back and check out what happened though. See some of these stats I'm curious to see. So we got AFC wise, Philip Rivers, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Le'Veon Bell makes his way in there, Kareem Hunt, Joe Mixon. We do get Dimitri Flowers in there. I'm not sure necessarily what all goes into like the fullback position for that. He's probably had like 12 rushes or less, maybe 5 receptions or so. I could be underselling it, but still. Um, Patrick Ricard, I think, is the name there. Cole Beasley, Julian Edelman, Keenan Allen, Willie Snead, Dede Westbrook makes it in, and Adam Humphries. So some interesting players in like Willie Snead there. I wouldn't have necessarily expected that. Maybe Adam Humphries, I guess. Hunter Henry though. Uh, what's his name? Delonte Walker. I'm butchering that. It'll come back to me. Travis Kelch, Ronnie Stanley makes it in, of course. Andrew, I want to say it is Villanueva, Joel Batonio, Joe Thuney, Rodney Hudson, Yonda DeCastro. We got Swartz. Orlando Brown Sr. does make it in, so he ended up progressing to an 82 overall. And I believe the Ravens did make the playoffs too, so he has potential to continue to build throughout the off season for us, playoffs for them. Bennett Leonard Williams makes it. It's excellent news. Garrett Quinnen Williams makes it. Excellent news. Richardson, Ed Oliver, Chandler Jones, Chris Jones, not Chandler Jones. I was gonna say yeah, he doesn't play DT. Von Miller, Judon, Mosley makes it. Edmonds, Hightower, Burfict, Bradley Roby, Hayward, uh, Harris makes it. Smith, Thornhill, Lamarcus Joyner. We have him coming in on real time to the Jets. Willie Parks, I believe it is. Rodney Harrison, the young Bama safety. Lambo Edwards, Richard, and Scott. So we had a couple players make it. The more obvious ones in the Williams brothers, if we want to call it that. For the Super Bowl, we have the Saints versus the Colts. Really interested to see how that plays out. And courtesy of award alerts, it looks like we did get somebody that made it. So first year in, we are at least able to obtain that's in Quinnen Williams. So we'll check See who actually made it everywhere. Aaron Rodgers ends up getting MVP of the league. Ron Rivera for the coach. Mariota, Offensive Player of the Year. CJ Mosley gets Defensive Player of the Year. So not only do we get the rookie, but we get an actual veteran pro as well. And interesting, I don't know what we'll do with him, but he might not last throughout the offseason. Um, Paris Campbell leads the way there. Quinnen Williams for us. We also had Ja'Kai Polite as a potential option. And yet again, somehow still Blake Cashman potentially. Philip Rivers, best QB. Kareem Hunt leads best running back group. Keenan Allen for the Chargers. Marshall Yanda leads the way for the Ravens. And they still, yeah, so they had two, I believe potentially three at one point. Myles Garrett just beats out Quinnen Williams for best defensive lineman. Leonard Williams also in there as well. Leonard Williams just couldn't keep pace with what he was doing between like weeks 12 and I think weeks 10 and like 15, where he went on like a crazy stretch. He went up to development factors over the course of the season, but he kind of fell off just a little bit. CJ Mosley, best linebacker, as well as the best defensive player. And then Bradley Roby for the DBs. Josh Lambo as the kicker. So pretty nice to see. Let's see what Taylor Bennett is talking about with the Super Bowl matchup. What do you think of the Super Bowl teams this year? Colts versus Saints. Indianapolis had one of the league's top passing attacks this season, but we'll see if it holds up against the Saints. Because New Orleans has put up some pretty impressive numbers in their own right, especially their passing offense. If that's in sync, they're going to be tough to stop. Should be a fun game. Knowing what I know of the rosters right now, kind of got to give it to the Saints. That's the way it's been every year, anyways, where, it seems like something goes wrong that keeps them from reaching the Super Bowl. But we'll see ultimately what happens there. Let's get some of this scouting out the way real quick. I don't know what I want to. I'll wait on this one towards the off season just because the positions where you get that decrease, so they're at 11. I just like to make the most of all the points there. So let's see. We tracked everybody in the first two. We wanted there. Let's focus on some receivers again. Do our homework as best as possible in this class. All right, some upgrades we're not going to worry about. Let's take a look at where am I wanting to go? Schedule. Let's take a look at what's happened on the path to the Super Bowl. There we go. Playoff schedule. Okay, so wild card round. We had Buffalo crushing the Ravens, so the Ravens have an actual early exit. Buffalo's been kind of dangerous all season though, but Josh Allen, 3 TDs, over 300 yards. Lamar Jackson had some trouble in the passing game. McCoy had a solid game. Ingram had a pretty solid game. Jackson gets in there. TJ Yeldon contributes. Josh Allen gets in there himself once. Zay Jones, John Brown goes off. And it's weird to see that the Buffalo Bills crush it like this when they mostly have slot receivers as like their offensive targets, at least currently in year one. Mark Andrews has a very good game for Baltimore. Seth Roberts, Marquise Brown contributes. Cole Beasley gets in there. Interesting. Falcons at Rams. The Rams edged them out. Matt Ryan has a solid game. Jared Goff goes off. He ends up throwing an interception as well. Pretty, nothing crazy there in the running game. Julio Jones spazzing out, though, in the playoffs again. 132 and a touchdown on 6 catches. Cooper Kupp does his thing. I would say definitely one of the top 5 slot receivers. in the NFL. Robert Woods, he ended up being very sneaky good with the Rams. Calvin Ridley, he's been developing really good for them. Chargers at Colts. Indy crushes them, and I know they've been saying that their passing game is really deadly. So, uh, 2-1 for Andrew Luck. Philip Rivers 281-1, no picks. Marlon Mack, very good game for the Colts. So it seems like maybe they have a. I remember seeing a video that talked about what having a balanced attack actually meant, and it's not necessarily having a 50-50 split. It's about being able to effectively utilize both parts of the game. And that's something I've always kind of thought about as well. At least my that kind of thought process evolved for me. Mike Williams, a lot of people on the Chargers had a good game. It just wasn't enough. But that's kind of a thought that rung bells for me as well. Um, Saints topping Green Bay. See what happened. Okay, so kind of subparish game for Breeze. Aaron Rodgers didn't do anything extremely spectacular, but 212 and a touchdown is nothing to laugh at. Alvin Kamara, very good game. Aaron Jones, Latavius Murray gets in there quite a bit as well. Jimmy Graham, kind of having flashbacks to his days as the top tight end in the league a bit. Jared Cook, it's you don't see a whole lot in the receiving department for the Saints there. It was more about the rushing day for them. We get to the divisional rounds. Chiefs crushed the Bills this time. And the Bills still had a pretty good offensive day. Patrick Mahomes with 3, though. Josh Allen ends up kind of swapping. He still throws for over 300, but 2 picks instead of 2 picks and a touchdown instead of the reverse. Running game, it's decently around for everyone. Jamison Crowder, he ends up having a field day, and he looks like a good trade pickup for the Chiefs from us. LaShawn McCoy, that lets you know right there how bad the receiving department was, even though they were able to still get quite a few yards. But it seems like, and it's just kind of a function of Madden too. But you never want your running backs really necessarily having the majority of those yards. It's what the receivers are for. But I mean, we've seen like the Patriots make it work. James White, almost having like 85 receptions a season. Saints edge out the Panthers. This time, Drew Brees having a much better game. Cam Newton looking like his old self as well. Strong game for McCaffrey. Kamara takes a little bit of a step back. But in the receiving game, Rashard Matthews steps up. Michael Thomas must have came back. We didn't really see him in the previous week. Colts dominate New England. So 2 members from our division in the playoffs. Something to keep in mind. Tom Brady doing his Tom Brady-like things. Andrew Luck not necessarily having the best game for himself, but they were able to edge them out. Not even a strong running game. I would have to imagine turnovers probably came into effect. Yeah. 21 points in the second quarter. So that seemed to make the difference. No need to get into the Rams versus the Cowboys since we know who made it past what. Colts just barely eke past the Chiefs there. Jacoby Brissett had to step in for a bit. Andrew Luck was having so-so day. Patrick Mahomes having a much worse. I mean, Williams has to kind of pick up a lot of the slack for whatever might have happened. Yeah, looks like consistency wise, the Colts were just able to keep it going more so than Kansas City. New Orleans crushes the Rams though. So Drew Brees 4-2, Jared Goff 2-1, just over 250 for Brees. Rushing wise, Todd Gurley tried to save the day. Alvin Kamara has a pretty successful day himself. Michael Thomas continuing to go off in the playoffs. Jared Cook went crazy, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. Brandon Cooks, yeah, Rams just didn't have enough performers in the game to keep up. So I want to say based off the Saints have the hot hand, so I would have to give it to them. We'll see what ultimately happens here. And the Colts win. Not only is it not a close game, but they get absolutely blown out. Like lit up. Uh, that's pretty crazy to see. They almost, not almost doubled, but I mean, they pretty much ran away in the yardage department. Andrew Luck killing it. So, Madden and it's weird continuous things. Drew Brees must have retired, which is why we don't see his stat line. But this tells you pretty much all you need to know right there. Andrew Luck, 3 touchdowns, over 300, only one pick. Uh, Somewhat of an okay game for Marlon Mack. That fumble there kind of hurts them a bit. But Traquan Smith, he gets one. T.Y. Hilton gets one. Marlon Mack, Paris Campbell. So that's why I'm not much of a betting man. That is officially a season, though, in the books. New York Jets can officially look beyond. Um, Auden Tate. Let's take a look at what things look like for him over the course of the season. So 30 receptions, 297 yards. Good for just under 10 receptions a game. We can kind of see he had some really decent games, had some where he kind of disappeared, especially down the stretch. And he ended up. So we played him at slot originally somewhere, let's say around here is when we moved him to wide receiver number 2 based on injuries. Just kind of went to see with his body frame. So that could have been a factor for sure. He's not the most polished receiver. You can see he actually had a little bit of a downturn in the downs he was playing. Ultimately played 10 games. So 10 games, just over 300 yards. So about 30 or so. I don't think we're gonna roll with extending an additional offer. We'll see if maybe we can pick him up as a priority free agent or something like that. Chad Williams, you don't stick out. I do want to see what Isaiah Ford was able to do as well, real quick. 24 and 241. I don't remember how many games I had you for. 7. So he was able to do a little bit more. He kind of disappeared those last couple weeks. But remember, we also lost Darnold for like the last 4 weeks of the season. Trevor Siemian, so far stretch from there. How much do you want? They, it's not like they want a ridiculous amount. Uh, okay, we'll extend this offer to him, and he'll hopefully be like our baseline at the receiving department. Nobody else I'm really worried about. Brian Poole as well. You might be somebody we see if we re-sign during like the off season. Yeah, nobody else matters. So I'd like to say that I did a bunch of research like in advance and took a look at the players that were going to be coming and different things like that, but I didn't wanted things to be authentic during the video. So we'll be looking at these free agents and stuff for the first time, and you can see we have a lot of signing that needs to be done. Ultimately, I kind of like the old school Packers approach where we don't really spend a lot in free agency because we're probably paying our own players, or just focusing on the draft because that's all we really need to do as part of being a successful franchise. That's not probably going to be the case at all, and we only got 37 million to do it. So I'm not looking for necessarily star players, anything flashy. Um, we know what we need to do. What we also want to take a look at real quick though is just reminding ourselves what our draft positioning is looking like, and what we'll need to accomplish. And there's going to be something else that we try to do as well real quick in a moment. But we have second pick in the draft, the 19th. We have one, two, three, four threes. We got a four, a five, a lot of sixes, a lot of sevens. So a lot of leeway on the back end, and some stuff we can do up front. I still want Orlando Brown Sr. So first business, Ronnie Stanley would be nice too, but all right. So Orlando Brown, we know the Ravens are looking for a middle linebacker, a center, a wide receiver, a right outside linebacker, and a right end. Um, okay, let me just take a look at who I have at these positions. I know I'm not trading him. CJ Mosley is up for grabs, and then yeah, I don't really have anybody at the linebacker positions. So this is essentially what we're looking at. So player for player, I know that's not going to work. Let's see what happens when we start throwing in these picks. All right, so that was a pretty big boost. Let's see if Mosley makes a difference. I don't really want to trade Williams anymore after all the development. I had a feeling though we're probably gonna be stuck having to try and oh my lord, why? every time, yo. I got a feeling that let me see what it looks like with Williams. I got a feeling we'll probably be stuck playing the long game and having to try to develop our own team though. So here's the thing. If this works out and I give them Mosley and Williams, that means we have Quentin Williams on the line. We'll see what positions we need to move him in. Nathan Shepard, and then nothing. So a lot of depth that we need on the line. We have nothing at the linebacker positions anywhere anymore once CJ Mosley leaves, if he leaves. And then Brandon Carr, aging veteran, not going to stick, and nobody else was really able to develop. We traded Marcus May, so really we have Adams and we have Quentin Williams as the players on the line for us that will probably be able to do anything significant right away. Oh, I think that number two would probably get it done. I'm gonna offer it, and then I'm gonna see if I can get a pick back. I don't know for sure if it's gonna work, but just in case, they're not feeling that. Oh, that is a lot to give up. I really want Orlando Brown, but that is a lot to give up. take a look. I don't have my draft board in front of me. Um, man, that is a lot of capital. Let's just focus on the free agents first. We got till basically the draft ends, technically to the next official trade cap ends. But all right, quarterback wise, Sam Darnold, don't know if he stays or goes. He'll probably be a strong trade piece. We could do a competition. I kind of so the goal here is essentially I think if we sign somebody, I want it to essentially be somebody who has a skill set that I know if the starter goes down, they can come in. The offense won't really miss too much of a beat. They'll be able to win. So I don't really need anybody necessarily with mobility, but I do want them to have decent enough awareness, throw under pressure, and then probably short accuracy has to be good. I'll settle for decent medium accuracy. Hopefully something over 80. Okay, so like see, Keenum doesn't have to throw under pressure, which means the offensive line would have to be really strong, and he doesn't really have throw power either. But he has the awareness, he has the accuracy, so he could probably come in and win games. He just wouldn't wow us with the way he does it. Nick Mullins seems like essentially the same player. 79 play action. Okay, Case Keenum's is definitely better. Fitz Magic makes a return to the Jets. Yeah, we're not gonna go this low. So Keenum looks like the go-to. Wow, why does Nick Mullins want so much? I guess over 4 years that makes sense, but what makes him think he's gonna get a 4-year contract? Who knows though? It's Madden. Who knows? Case Keenum, I'm comfortable offering a contract to. Running back department, I don't have anything specific in mind. I know that we're going to end up taking a look at a new playbook, if not outright creating our own. So I'm trying to keep that in mind. The scheme may also change potentially, but I'm more so worried about the playbook. I think I would be okay just as long as the person has high agility. So something definitely over 90, and I gotta have my ball carrying vision. I can work around everything else. Jordan Howard actually looks really good considering his carrying's high. He doesn't have what I'm looking for, but I'm just saying you can see like a steep drop off in carrying for a lot of people pretty instantly. Case in point. How much does he want? Yeah, I'm not providing that. Kind of want somebody 25 or under as well. I don't know if we'll find anybody that meets the criteria I'm looking for though. Yeah, nothing. So okay, let's try 27 or under, but the contract length is going to have to be like 3 years or less. So like Alex Collins looks like a pretty decent fit. I like the agility, I like the ball carrier vision a lot more. I don't want to get into a bidding war. I can't really afford that at the moment though. Chris Thompson's 29 already. He has been sneaky good for a long time though. I actually shouldn't be surprised by that. I'm not seeing a lot of people that have like high agility. It's actually surprising me quite a bit. All right, see, like this is one, but then he doesn't have vision. Ah, man, we might be settling a bit. Let's see, he has the agility. I wanted something over 80 for the vision, ideally. Average speed and acceleration, I would say. Carrying is pretty decent, though. He can catch and run routes a bit. Just let Ty Montgomery walk. McKissick might actually be a little bit more of an upgrade. We just had DeAndre as well. Alright, so we'll do McKissick. I guess that'll be the veteran presence of the room. I definitely want at least one receiver. Quincy Enunwa might not make it. And I kind of wanted a scheme fit. But I'm not seeing a lot of those whatsoever. The trick is, as mentioned, I can't go and oh my god, the Bills won them. That wouldn't be good. Can't afford to go blow the bank on anything crazy either. Alright, so we have the speed component here. Catching's cool. Catching traffic is okay. Ideally, I want the route running for short and intermediate to be over 80. If I can find somebody. $78 and $80. The tricky part is trying to imagine where said player may end up in terms of them being in like the slot or on the outside boundary. Um, Tajay Sharp looks decent enough. He's young, only 25. He has some size. okay release. Catching traffic and stuff would need to get improved, but we would have him for, at least 2 years. See if any improvements happen. He has some agility. All right, so he might be somebody I keep an eye on. Geronimo Allison. Is this old boy from the Packers? Decent release. Speed is okay. Catching's cool. Catching traffic would need to get improved, but he has a pretty decent route running across the board. A little bit more size than Tajay Sharp. A little bit better speed too. Kind of like him. I think Geronimo Allison gets a contract from us. All right, I can't hit everything, which is the tricky part here. So the question is, do we fill in some holes that we're gonna have? Uh, yeah, we might not be able to afford giving up any picks. Actually, as bad as I want Orlando Brown Sr., we got a lot of holes that we need to figure out. For now, we just need bodies. Definitely not going Andrew Whitworth. I need really like bargain bin agents right now. This is absolutely terrible. He was once promising career. I guess as long as everything else looks decent, I'm just looking for at least some legitimate like impact block, I guess. Let's shoot for like 85 or higher maybe. Which seems like that's gonna be a tall ask. Oh boy, this is brutal. I know it wasn't probably designed to be this way, but this is probably the only aspect of Madden that they hit spot on because I can imagine this is what like the coaches and GMs in the league are taking a look at when they're doing their own scouting and kind of reviewing of players, and they're just shaking their head at the development of most players coming right out of college. All right, I don't even think I've seen anybody over 80 outside of was it Whitworth maybe? Yeah, Humphreys here. And he wants more money. Maybe we can get him on a 1 year instead. Let me see. Definitely more of a run blocker than anything else. 7.71 for 1 year. At least we got a body at these other positions. So draft is going to be extremely critical for us. Just looking for some decent kind of run blocking and impact here. I would feel better if this was like the second or third week of free agency and it's just like, all right, you just need a camp body or, you know, somebody on the depth chart that you know isn't going to get a whole lot of plays. But this is crazy. Kobe Gossett might be the guy though. I mean, the only other really decent one was like Nico here. But yeah, Kobe Gossett is going to get the contract. So if we play our cards right, hopefully he never sees the light of day. But that's to be determined. All right, let's just go ahead and progress. We'll see how things pan out. 15 million in cap space. Still quite a lot of people we would need to sign. But we got a lot of picks to try to make some work with. The only player that doesn't accept is Geronimo Allison. Huge problem. Not the biggest, but fairly annoying for sure. Tajay Sharp might be gone by now already too. Oh, he's still there. Okay. It's okay. Who did Geronimo Allison sign with? The Bills. The Bills take Geronimo from us. They also get Tyreek Hill. They're shaping up to have an extremely crazy offseason. Alright, so we'll hope Tajay Sharp sticks then. Uh 40 players only right now. We'll need a kicker and a punter. That we have all those late picks for. This is a brutal experience. I don't think we can really afford to spend too much more. I think I'd rather focus on the draft, I guess, at this point, and then we'll kind of see what we have to work with after that. All right, so here's the projected top 10. Six of those players being on the defensive side. We'll spend our points. We'll take a look at my actual draft board, and then we'll go from there. So we got everybody on the offensive line. Perfect. All right, so we know what we're working with there. We know the linebacking core is going to be a huge thing for us. So all right, so we got our people to accept. That's good. Okay. Wait, did I not see Tajay Sharp? Okay, I don't remember if I oh, okay. We haven't fast forward the week. Yeah, I was gonna say I can't remember if I just tried to give him the offer this week. Okay, so taking a look at my actual draft board, here's how things stack up for me in terms of top ranked players. And 7 of my top 10 at least are on the offensive side. So the way I pretty much do it is something's off here. Hold on. I uh I go by talent or skill originally. So the true draft positioning, and then of course the actual talent itself, and I go from there. Normally I would switch things around based on combine and stuff like that, but I can easily just kind of cycle through those as I'm looking. So I don't worry about those too much. We do need to make sure we get into some of these other rounds though. So no true second rounders at the quarterback position. You can see it's just like a crazy swing and a miss all over. It looked at least like there were some hidden gems, at least in the class. I guess I can be happy about that a bit. And then there's going to be some players that get added and switched around and all that good stuff last minute just based on probably when I ended up scouting certain people. Okay. It's not one of my most favorite it's not one of my more favorite things to do. Only because it's a bit time consuming. Okay, like, see, I feel like some of this stuff does weird. Go like this. Alright, any more ones hiding in here? Alright, and obviously, as you can tell, there's some, it's gonna be some things that don't quite align right in here. Anybody else? Okay, 2 more 1s. I remember doing this in what, Madden 19 maybe. They had this weird glitch where when you pause to kind of see where you were gonna shift somebody, it would freeze on you, and then you'd have like two players with the same name, same skills and stuff. You'd have to kind of like back out, or sometimes you could tab between and it'll kind of sort itself out. But it made it really hard to actually establish your draft board. Okay. Okay, so I'm on this. Alright, cool. Hmm. Let's see, is there anything else I'm missing here? B plus. There's definitely some hidden little stars in here. Alright, I'll kind of do this on the fly as I need to during the draft, but right now, through 2 rounds, at least for the players I've scouted and stuff so far, we got 43 draftable players. Not too bad between 2 rounds. Could be much worse. Big decision, 5th-year option. Who is it? Jamal Adams. That's a no-brainer. For now, we're definitely going to go ahead and accept that. All right, so we got Tajay Sharp on board. Do a bit more scouting. Ah, man, there's so many players here still that we haven't scouted. The linebacker core, I think, needs to be the focus, though. I mean, really, we just need talent everywhere. But The linebacker core is what got hit the hardest so far. Oh no, we wasted points down here on somebody. Okay. Still not looking great. It's not looking good at all. One more round of scouting we'll be able to do. And then we need to have a game plan in place for ourselves. So the good news is we got a lot of picks. Bad news is we still haven't brought in like an Orlando Brown. So no significant upgrades anywhere on the line, at least based on free agency. Okay, needless to say, we have we got a lot of guessing that we'll be doing. There were a couple ones that snuck in here last minute. Let me just see how many players was that real quick. So first two rounds, unless there's some people in like the third or fourth or something that wasn't fully scouted yet, 47 players. So We have what? Let's see. Oops. 3 picks from the top 47. So we'll definitely be able to secure at least 3 of those, pending any trade backs, additional positions that get picked up within that frame. Outside of that, that's when we'll really need to kind of make the most of our scouting class. I do want to take one more look at this offensive line situation. So Quincy Enunwa, I would be okay moving Mosley. I don't want to offer that number 2. Oh, they wouldn't even. Oh well, let's switch it to the Ravens first before we get to tripping. Yeah, they aren't even slightly interested in Enunwa. This does what? That's not gonna be enough. Let me see what it looks like with Williams. It's about the same. Yeah, that as bad as I want him, that's too much. Maybe we revisit it after we see who we officially pick up in the draft, um, how that whole situation plays out for us. Because right now, at least based on what it's telling us here, left outside linebacker is the top need, right tackle, middle linebacker, cornerback, and free safety. So only one position on the offensive line somehow magically. But I guess that just lets you know the overall state of this entire team. 2 of those are in the linebacking core, 2 of those in the secondary, only one on the line. Um, with that said, at least taking a look at my draft board, for me, I really kind of like JD Spicer. He has not only the short but the mid accuracy that we're looking for, as well as some pretty solid throw power. Um, Landon Spencer as an already scheme fit quarterback. He gives us that throw power. Looks like he has some decent enough. Nothing crazy. 4.72 actually, but whatever. He gives us some throw on the run. We know he's short already. And then Charlie Olsen here. He gives us throw power as well. He's short. He's also on the run, but he's a made scrambler already. So all of these quarterbacks are 22 or younger. So that's the good news. I thought there was one more that oh, Max Castle potentially. Now we know his throw power isn't rated the same. His at least for Spicer, his short isn't the same, but the mid's the same. So you have to wonder, since they're saying Max Castle's only a number 3 true round talent, what a mid third rounder, what is the actual difference in skill set there? If we decide not to go quarterback, the next question would be, what do we want to focus on then? Let's take a look at it this way. So we can get like a Garrett Downey potentially. He would automatically have to be like a linebacker for me. I don't want anybody on the line that's under like 280 really. We can get us a tight end. If we want to go the Max Castle route, we can really maximize the first 2 picks. We get him a security blanket and like Jacoby, or we can get him, like a Ronell Robinson. So he has some kind of true potential number 1 to develop alongside of. We can get him like a receiver of some kind, a receiver or tight end. And then we can either get him like a running back or some offensive line assistance, which should be the go-to, right? With that said, that's not even including if we get like a really good trade back offer. It's only like 1 or 2 picks. I don't really mind at all. There's a lot of sneaky good players in here though. Like he's around 2 potentially, at least based on projections. I know positions like middle linebacker go really quick. Kyle Holiday. I would have definitely liked to have 2 top 10 picks, but I kind of like having that middle tier first because so many players do go a lot earlier than expected. It really kind of lets us know where that very next focus should be between having that immediate second round, number 2 second round pick and the end of the first. And then we could do a lot of maneuvering between like rounds 3 and 5 as we need to. Yeah, my draft board is vastly different. But let's take a look at the offensive line talent real quick. So, number 2 in the 4th round. There's no true number 1 graded C. There's no projected number 1s. There we go. We have at least 3 draftable guards. We have our center already, so if we picked him, it would be with the intent that he would swing to a guard position. Braxton Reeves is really like the that's kind of the main player I would say I want from the draft. So there's some talent. There's some talent there. Let me know what you guys think about which way we should be leaning in terms of these picks, these players. Um, I'm kind of torn on what I want to focus on, especially when it comes to the quarterback position. Max Castle looks like a really good fallback option. I don't know what the run on quarterbacks and stuff is going to look like in the draft. We know Madden always just does weird things. Somebody might draft a quarterback in the top 5 this year, end up in the same position next year, and do the same thing. So who knows? But I'll be interested to see your guys' thoughts. Um, or as well, I'm still not opposed to using a lot of the draft capital we have. If there's players you guys think that I should be trading some of those picks for, feel free to let me know. With that said, thank you guys for peeping, and we'll be posting most likely we'll be streaming again most likely tomorrow, or I should say, not we, but I'll be streaming again tomorrow most likely at some point. Um, and that'll be draft day. I'll try to knock it all out in one go. If not, then I'll break it up into like 2 parts potentially. But appreciate you guys. Stay tuned.